One day, in the early morning, Gautama Buddha was sitting in a garden quietly with his disciples. A man arrived silently and stood in the shadows. That man was a great devotee of Lord Rama. He had built many temples across the country. He had devoted many years in the service of Lord Rama. He would always chant Rama's name and contemplate on Rama's greatness. He was old and close to his last years. Even after many years of dedicated spiritual effort, he was not realized. He wanted to know for sure if there is a God or not. When he heard about the realized one, the Buddha, he came to get his doubt cleared. When he felt nobody would notice him talking to Siddhartha, the Buddha, he asked Gautama, "O enlightened one, please tell me the truth, and truth only. Is there a God?" Buddha, from his intuition, knew that man to be a great devotee of Lord Rama. He looked at the man with seriousness and said, "No, my friend, there is no God." The man was shocked. Buddha's words weighed heavily on his mind, and he left the enlightened one that morning with so many questions regarding his relationship with God. All his life, he believed in the existence of God, and now the Buddha had just told him there's not. Buddha's disciples that were gathered there were very relieved and joyous to finally know the truth that there was no God. They all started muttering between them, sharing what the Buddha had just told the man that morning. His words spread through the whole town. The whole town was celebrating the day on which the truth of no God was revealed by the enlightened one. They were finally free of the ideas of hell, heaven, and of somebody sitting up there to judge one's actions. It was getting late in the evening, and once again the disciples came back and sat around the Buddha. There came a man who was a materialist, who had been an atheist all his life. He had convinced thousands of people that there was no God. He used to go to the priests and scholars and defeat them in the arguments about God. He too was getting old, and little suspicion arose in him. What if there is God? Isn't it a waste of my life to spread the no God message if there is God? He thought. He was eaten by his doubt. He finally decided to know the truth and sought the enlightened one. He slowly came up to where Buddha was sitting and asked him, "They say you are enlightened. Please tell me if there is God or not." Buddha, knowing that man to be an atheist, said with a firm voice, as if he is in firm conviction, "Yes, my friend, there is God." The man was also shocked. He had been an atheist all his life, and now the Buddha had answered him against all his assumptions and beliefs. But he had faith in the Buddha. So, with all kinds of questions in his mind, he also left. Buddha's disciples, who had heard everything, once again were taken back to confusion. One of the Buddha's disciples had been with him in the morning and evening, and had listened to both answers given to the two gentlemen. He was so confused. He didn't know what to make of it. That night, when everyone was getting ready for sleep, he went to the Buddha and said, "Oh, enlightened one, I feel very restless due to one question. In the morning, you told the gentleman that there's no God, and in the evening, you told the other one that there is a God. Please tell me which answer was the true one. Is there God or not?" The Buddha smiled and said, "The answers I gave them were only for them. It has nothing to do with you. But still, if you'd really like to know, then I'll tell you. The man who came early in the morning was atheist, meaning he believed in the existence of God However, he had never tried to find the truth for himself. His spiritual journey had stopped there. Therefore, I told him there's no God to reignite his spiritual quest. Now he will try to satisfy his curiosity, and he'll restart his spiritual journey. The other man, who came in the evening, was an atheist. He'd been blindly believing that there's no God. He had also never really tried to find his own truth. His spiritual journey had stagnated. So, in order to restart and grow his spiritual journey, I told him that indeed God exists. Now he'll start to question his beliefs, and his spiritual quest will recommence. I told each of them exactly what they needed for their spiritual quest to be reignited and to grow stronger. The believer needs to find doubt, while the non-believer needs to find faith. That's how they are going to grow. The disciple asked, "But Lord, what about me?" Buddha smiled and said, "Just continue meditating, and you will arrive." In our lives, we see that there are people of all kinds. There's those who believe in God and those who don't. But it really doesn't matter. What's important is to know about oneself, to discover the truth within oneself. Belief is the insistence that the truth is what one would leaf, or will or wish to be. Faith is an unreserved opening of the mind to the truth, whatever it may turn out to be. Faith has no preconceptions. It is a plunge into the unknown. Belief clings, but faith lets go. Alan Watts. Thanks for watching, and Namaste.